So now we're going to talk about how to take those sessions, give them a score, and work out how often we're going to be doing them. So let's use this profile of this person here that we've created. And we're going to assign a score or a value to each of those 4 areas, to their work capacity, to their body weight, to their Olympic lifting, and their powerlifting. Because we're effectively creating a wagon wheel here with those 4 areas on the wagon wheel. We're going to give each one a score on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, we know that this is weakness to strength, don't we? Because our priority is fixing the weaknesses. So we know that work capacity is a real weakness for this athlete. So importance, let's say that our work capacity, because now we're not rating their ability, we're rating the importance. It's an important distinction here. So work capacity is maybe a 2 out of 10, which makes it 8 out of 10 important. Does that make sense? Yeah, because we need to turn this into how often do we do these sessions. So work capacity is going to be really, really important. We're going to give that an 8. The powerlifting, they're already really strong with their absolute strength. Maybe that's going to be a 2. These others are going to be somewhere in the middle. Their Olympic lifting is pretty good. So that's going to be maybe a 7 out of 10 in terms of how proficient they are. Therefore, we're going to give that a 3 because it's not as important. And maybe this body weight stuff is going to go somewhere in the middle, and we'll give that a 6. So we've now taken an athlete from looking at their competencies, ordering them in terms of weakness to strength, therefore most to least important. And finally, we've assigned each one a number. So how do we turn that into, well, how often should we be doing these sessions that train these elements? Well, we add these numbers together. If we add those together, we come up with 19. So we've got a total of 19 points that we've assigned there. Now it becomes really simple. 8 out of 19 sessions, I'll write this up here. 8 out of these 19 sessions should be focused on improving their work capacity. See how we're closing the circle? It's starting to come together now. 6 out of 19 sessions should be focused on improving their gymnastic ability, on their body weight stuff. 3 out of 19 sessions on Olympic lifting, and 2 out of 19 sessions on their powerlifting. And if we come back to this model here, we now know that from every 19 sessions, so it'll be a 19 session cycle for this athlete, we need to have 8 of them should be taken from within this circle. That we should have 6 of these sessions coming from within this body weight circle. Of course, there are going to be some overlaps, but if we can do that, then we're guaranteed that we're going to be taking an athlete from being unbalanced, from having these major strengths and weaknesses, these major deficiencies, to being more balanced. Then we can increase the size of that circle. And that's how we go from identifying the goals of an athlete to working our way down and saying, well, how often do we actually do each of these sessions? Now, this may not always add up to 19. It may be a lot more or a lot less, but this gives us a ratio of one session to the next. And again, this is a very simplified approach, and I would use 12 to 16 spokes in the programming that I do for people. So you can see there are a lot more overlapping circles, are a lot more intersects, it becomes a lot more complex, but you don't need to do that stuff. The more spokes you have, the better a picture of someone's health or fitness that you can create. But you guys have already got a really good idea of what this athlete's like. You probably all know someone who's amazing with a barbell. They can do a 250 kilo deadlift. They can snatch 100 kilos. But if you ask them to do it twice, you need to get the defib. Yeah? So everyone knows someone like this. And you're laughing because you're thinking of that guy right now. So everyone knows someone like this. So we can put together a really good picture from just 4 different variables, from 4 different circles. And this gives us a lot of information. It's not like we need a huge amount more than that. Okay? This is relative. Who would call themselves a beginner? Okay? Who would say they're more of they've been in the game for a while, they got a pretty good idea of what they're doing? Yeah? Okay. The people who put their hands up and said they were a beginner would rate themselves an 8, 9, or 10 in just as many things as someone who's an absolute advanced athlete. because this is purely relative to you. This isn't comparing to other people. So the thing that I'm absolute best at would be a 10. Each one of you, if we were doing this rating system, each of you would have a 10. Each of you would have a 1. And then, for those of you who are more mathematically minded, we can look at the standard deviation to see how balanced that athlete is. That's going a little further down the rabbit hole than I want to. But there will always be things that are outliers. Everyone should be able to come up with an order of priority here. Now, if there are multiple things which are of equal importance, then you go, okay, 5, 5, 5, and this is something that I'm really good at, so that's going to be a 2. You're always biasing towards the areas that need the most work. Does that answer your question? Okay, cool. So